As long as schools are taking all reasonable care to follow the guidance that's been given to them through their school districts or county health departments or state, they are protecting themselves against liability. They're showing they're taking reasonable efforts to make sure that their staff and their students are safe.
What sort of expectation should a school community have for privacy in the time of COVID? Can they say things like, what about HIPAA laws?
Right. No, I'm so glad you brought that up. HIPAA is the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act. It is very specific that it only covers entities that are healthcare providers and healthcare plans. A school is neither of those entities. So you can protect privacy of your students and teachers and still be transparent. You can just de-identify the names of the individuals that may have tested positive for COVID and still let the community and the parents and families and teachers know this is how many cases we have, this is our regular reporting. Just be as transparent as possible about the information that's out there to avoid any type of public backlash, because there really is no legal precedent or law for why you would not want to share that information.
As schools begin to evaluate whether or not they would be able to open in the traditional sense face-to-face, what sorts of things can they learn from perhaps the way nursing homes have been handled?
One of the key things that's helping nursing homes that did not have a positive outbreak, which is very strong leadership and knowing and following the guidance that isn't mandatory. It's the same as nursing homes. It's not mandatory for schools to follow the guidance that's being released from the health department, but the guidance is still out there in terms of what to do to help socially distance and keep teachers and students as safe as possible. And also from a legislation or a legal perspective, what happened with nursing homes could also happen with schools, which is something to really watch for, where they were required to take COVID-19 positive residents and care for them, even though they may have lacked the training in terms of infection control procedures, the proper PPE, and they were yet still had no way to turn back these potential residents. And the same thing could happen with schools, where they may be required to have students come, especially students that are under certain eligibility categories, such as special needs, or those who are children of essential workers. And the schools may be required to care for them, even though they may lack the proper training and the proper PPE to isolate these students. So just a very similar area where the law can almost be enabling spread as opposed to preventing it.
It is possible to bring larger groups of people together and do so safely and prevent any sort of risk of spreading. But how do you do that?
Right. So again, because there's such a lack of clear guidance, it really comes down to this individual leadership. And in those cases where we've seen very little, if any, spread, it was those CEOs and that administrative team putting in place nurses or other infection control specialists that put in protocols and procedures, training, PPE, to make sure all those things are taken care of. And what we're seeing right now with schools is even schools that have nurses on staff may not be utilizing those nurses in those safe return plans. So that would be really key to get that measure under control, and that's what many nursing homes have done, is to start with infection control procedures. The second thing that they've done is they eliminated what's not necessary. So if someone could work virtually, they do work virtually. They limit contact as much as possible. There is some backlash to that, as we've seen with nursing home residents needing to have more contact with their families.
You're a law professor who has an expertise in public health. It sounds like you're saying there are ways to safely reopen. Is that accurate?
Yes, I think that we're seeing that around the world. There are ways to safely reopen, but it involves discipline, communal effort, transparency with the data, ongoing communication. It is not something that we can just have wishful thinking and we can magically reopen. It is an ongoing effort.
Currently, if I want to go to a grocery store or drugstore, etc., I don't have to sign a waiver. But in this pandemic, things are getting a little gray. Is it possible that we could be headed in that direction where you would have to sign some sort of form assuming a risk before you enter a property?
I mean, you can sign a form and it won't take away your right to file a lawsuit if you're harmed. They're just generally not enforceable contracts. I have yet to see that it's business as usual anywhere. People really are taking measures to, try to require masks, encourage masks, have hand sanitizing stations, keep tables far apart. These are all measures that say that this place of business did practice reasonable care in trying to keep people safe. So for those reasons, it would just be very, very difficult for someone to say, you didn't practice reasonable care, and that's why I got sick. First of all, it'd be very hard to even show that you got sick from that particular place and time, and then to be so sick that you had severe damages that you're then asking that business to pay for. It's best to just understand that you're assuming risk by going, and for companies to try to keep people as safe as possible.
Okay, Tara Sklar joining us from the U of A College of Law. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.